gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Sports Talk with Austin, your daily dose of sports and entertainment. In today's video, I will be talking about what should USC do at quarterback for 2024 as the Trojans have a big time decision to make for the upcoming 2024 college football season. Should they stick to Miller Moss or should they go out and get Will Howard? That's been the big question among Trojans and Trojan fans and among college football fans. Who will be the starting quarterback for USC? And I'm here to break it down and talk about it. So the big question is, what will USC do at quarterback? Because more than likely, Caleb Williams is going to enter the 2024 NFL Draft, and that will leave USC to fill the void at quarterback. And that brings up the question of who is it going to be. There's a lot of quarterbacks that were out in the transfer portal, but Will Howard's name has emerged as one of the favorites. But Miller Moss, who performed excellent in the DirecTV Holiday Bowl against my Louisville Cardinals, has risen his name in stock, and maybe USC should stick with him. But I'm here to answer the question today: Miller Moss or Will Howard? Who will it be and who should it be? But before we do that, we need to take a look at some of the numbers and put things into perspective. So looking at Will Howard and his 4 years at Kansas State, he had 5,786 total yards, 48 touchdowns, 25 picks, completed 58.8% passes, and 7.4 on average when throwing the football down the field. Now, discrepancy here is Miller Moss and his career stats is Miller Moss has not played as many games in his 2 years at USC. So these numbers do look more discrepant. But what we are going to talk about here in a few minutes is his big time game in the DirecTV Holiday Bowl, how that may change perspective on things. But Miller Moss's career stats: 914 yards, 9 TDs, 1 pick, 71.7% passing, and 9.9 point average on passing. And now to Miller Moss. Miller Moss had a great game, threw 7 touchdowns, only 1 interception, DirecTV Holiday in the Holiday Bowl 42-28 victory over the Louisville Cardinals. And now many USC fans believe that Miller Moss could be the guy going forward in 2024 to lead them into the new Big Ten, along with UCLA, Oregon, Washington, who are also joining them in there. But Will Howard is still out on the market, and he was the rumored quarterback to take over for Caleb Williams if he did decide to leave. And now, looking at these career numbers, Will Howard's been at Kansas State 4 years now, and you see what you get with him. The guy passes for a lot of yards, has a decent passing percentage, but he has thrown quite a few picks, but he's almost near 50 touchdowns as well. But he's also had a championship proven pedigree. He's taken Kansas State to the Big 12 championship, and he's also had multiple 7-8 win seasons, even a couple 10-win seasons in there as well. As Miller Moss, his numbers do not give much discrepancy, but 9 touchdowns, 1 pick, including 7 of those, and that 1 pick in the DirecTV Holiday Bowl. And Miller Moss is definitely a guy with a lot of upside, and he's still got 2 more years left, as Will Howard has got 1 more year left as well. He will be a graduate and will be a grad transfer, more than likely. So it leaves USC to what they shall do. USC's had a lot of guys opt out and go in the portal for the bowl game. So USC found out a lot of things about their team. But now many people think the Will Howard talk has cooled off, and Miller Moss has won the starting job. But Will Howard has one thing over Miller Moss, and that is the championship pedigree of leading a team of high prestige of Kansas State to the All-State Sugar Bowl in 2022 and the Big 12 championship game and winning it. But he eventually lost his job this past year to Avery Johnson, especially after he threw those 3 picks against Oklahoma State on a Friday night, resulting in a loss. And Kansas State, he opted out of their bowl. Avery Johnson took over in Kansas State with a 28-19 victory over NC State without Will Howard. So Kansas State more than likely does not need Will Howard. But that's not the point at hand. We are talking about what does USC need to do at quarterback. Well, USC does have a dilemma. Do they go with a young up-and-comer Miller Moss going into the new Big Ten where you'll be playing Michigan, Ohio State, UCLA, Washington, Oregon, Penn State, Indiana, Northwestern, Purdue, Rutgers, Maryland, all those teams, and Miller Moss, a couple friendly foes in there with Washington, UCLA, and Oregon? Or do you go with the guy in Will Howard who has the proven pedigree and has played in some big time games and big time moments? Now, I'm on the side of Miller Moss. If he continues to show this upside and is given the chance, Miller Moss can definitely shine for USC. But USC has also got to address some of their offensive line issues. They got to get a new defensive coordinator to help fix the defense. And Miller Moss has already been in that system and has learned everything. And he has probably more of an upside than Will Howard does. But Will Howard has the pedigree and the winningness that Miller Moss may not have yet. But Will Howard will have to learn the new playbook and will have to learn the new offense all over again at USC if he is to go to USC, if Miller Moss is not named the starter. But there are a lot of interesting things that go into this, but for my money's worth, I say ride with Miller Moss. See what you got in the kid. You could bring Will Howard in as the backup as well, and just see what you got the first two games, or rotate them in and out for the first few games, and just see what you got in both of the guys, and then you go from there as you enter Big Ten play in 2024. But Miller Moss to me has the more upside, and if USC may be able to win more with him as well. But I think Will Howard has proven and taken Kansas State to the dance. If USC is in win now mode and doesn't want to develop a quarterback, Will Howard is their guy. But if Miller Moss has shown them enough on that tape, as they did against Louisville, then Miller Moss is their guy. USC has ultimately got to decide what they want and what they want to do, especially going in to the new Big Ten. And although Miller Moss has not played as long as Will Howard has, there is the big discrepancy there in what I am saying. So it will be interesting what USC does. Unless Caleb Williams decides to come back, which is very unlikely, this is going to be the two options for USC. Now, especially that Cam Ward has entered the NFL draft as well. He was another name thrown out there, Grayson McCall, but it's either going to be Miller Moss or Will Howard, more than likely, for the USC Trojans. But the Trojans got to be sure that they shore up their defensive coordinator and sure that they get the talent, and then they can decide on Will Howard or Miller Moss going forward. But that's just my thought and view on this. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, especially to all my Trojan fans out there. Let me know what y'all think. While you're at it, please like, comment, subscribe, click on them notification bells so you never miss another great video here at Sports Talk with Austin, and this has been Austin, your host of Sports Talk with Austin. Peace and love, but I'm out this thing, y'all. Go Cards, everybody.